Kind of a technical question. Richard, stories have sort of lives of their own in the way that they build, and what occurs is, at some point they reach a critical mass. Then all of a sudden, the mass, the big networks, CNN, all the rest of them, will be there. Then you have a sort of critical mass situation. How long do you think it might take this story to build to that critical mass?
Well, I have my targeted list of media people, some of whom have very well-known names, who have been quietly asking me to provide them with proof. This has been since Mars Observer disappeared. I now have assembled what I and my team believes is proof. And our plan is to send them copies, rough cuts, in a few days of the Ohio State presentation,
right,
and follow that up with personal briefings. And if it doesn't ignite at that point, then they're deaf, dumb, and blind, as my grandmother used to say. But the fact is that every scientist who's seen this data so far is absolutely boggled. And we live in a culture where media will be driven by the scientists. If the scientists say, yes, it's got to be there, we've got to find out, there'll be excitement. If scientists yawn, nothing will happen, because media doesn't understand how to do any investigation on its own.
But you're telling us they're not yawning.
They're not yawning. Absolutely. Just the contrary.
Any of the people that you addressed in Ohio willing to stand up and have a microphone or a camera?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you ought to have Bruce Cornett on from Lamont. He's not with them now, but he was with Lamont Doherty. Jim Rajavik, who works for the EPA. I don't think that his EPA job would preclude him from doing an interview with you. But I would wait a few days until I can get more data into their hands. It's unfair to ask a scientist to make comments when they've only seen a very few
All right,
images.
Well, this story is important enough. So when you get them the data that you feel would convince them utterly...
They're going to get their video the same as you're going to get yours.
I understand, but theirs is a scientific look. Mine is just a look. And so
no, everybody's going to get the same thing.
What I'm saying, Richard, is I understand that.
I will follow up with them with hard copy and disc.
I understand. Yes, please. So, and now my question is, once you get somebody that you have supplied all the data you want to, get me their name, I'll have them on.
Can do.
Does that seem like a logical follow-up?
No problemo.
All right.